I'm back in my little studio space, so to speak. I got my fish here. Also, I got this couch thing. It's inflatable, so it moves a little bit and hopefully it won't make too much noise. Anyway, so we're back. It's been a week since NaNoWriMo has started, and I thought I would do a quick Nano vlog for my Saturday vlog. And so far, the writing has been going okay. It's been going. Usually I don't have a lot of problems with the word count. I think I may have mentioned that last week as well. It's mostly where is the story going, and so far the plot is, I'd say, about a third way in, I think. The character that is the main character in the story, he's not a great guy, but he is the main character, so you do have to follow his story for the time being. He has a job at a college, like I said last week, and he's obsessed with women, and mostly because women won't date him, which is what an incel usually is obsessed with. And he went on a date with a girl, actually. She offered because his co-worker passed away, and I guess she thought, like, hey, maybe he needs a distraction. She actually says, as a distraction, let's go out and, I don't know, get something to eat or whatever. So he gets all prepared for a date. He like gussies up with new dress pants, new dress shirt, new dress shoes, gets her candy, gets her flowers, and even starts reading her some poetry at some point. She's not really interested in that because she just wanted something casual. And so it's a little bit too much, and date does not go well. And I was going to initially have the character just go, oh well, that's unfortunate. Damn, women always, you know, doing something different, wanting something different than what they're actually getting, and they should have been happy or whatever. But then I thought, hang on, because this guy works at the college, so actually he shouldn't be dating students, and so that became a problem. And then he had to figure out a way that he could talk to her about not telling anybody that they had a date, and that didn't go well because the method he chose to try and distract her, I guess, to have the conversation did not go well, because he couldn't talk to her on the college grounds because that would look really suspicious. So he wanted to go talk to her somewhere outside of college grounds, and that ended up, well, he doesn't know where she lives. He looked it up, obviously, because he is that type of guy that will go look up information, but he didn't really want to show up at her house unannounced because that would definitely not make her happy. So he wanted her to be somewhere between her house and the college. So we had to try and figure out a way that to get her like somewhere that he could offer her a ride, and then they would talk there. But that did not go well because she thought that he was following her, and she ended up like basically running away from him. And then they had a struggle, and she did not survive, unfortunately. That was, I guess, because she was too noisy, and, you know, he didn't want people to notice that they were there, so things didn't go well in that little place. So she's no longer with us, and now he's got one person on his belt, one notch, I guess you could say. Not a good notch, but now he's been spending the last week, or I've been spending the last week, writing about how he's trying to avoid suspicion, what he's done to try and minimize, I guess, traces of anything that he may have been doing. And of course, he works at the same college where he used to go, so the college itself is upset, people are upset, people are trying to figure out what's going on and what happened to her. And once they figured out where her car was, there were even more crazy rumors going around. I'm not trying to tell the whole story because otherwise there would be no reason for anybody to try and read the book, obviously. But so yeah, things have been going on at the college. The police have been involved and stuff like that. And story-wise, it's going, and I have plenty of stuff to write about, but it's like I have to write them in small chunks. Like every day you have to write about 1,700 words. At least I try to write about 1,700 words. Usually end up a little bit more than 1,700. But then when I get to the 1,700 mark, I'm usually at a point where at 1,500 I'm like, okay, actually the chapter needs to stop here because this is a nice line to end it on. But then I'm like, I don't really want to finish at 1,500, I want at 1,700. So I have to write another little awkward paragraph somewhere that'll give me that extra 200 words to get to my 1,700 mark. Or I'm at 1,700 words and I'm like, I'm not done yet. I still have half a chapter to write, and then I end up writing like twice as much, which is good for the word count, obviously. And currently I sit at, I think, 27,550 words. So that's a good amount. That's over halfway, and we're about halfway through November, so that's good, right? It's the 13th. 2 days shy of halfway mark, but that's okay because I like having a little buffer. I think I said that last time as well, just in case I have a busy day or something that I can't write too much. So then I can compensate with the extra words that I wrote at a different day. So now we have about half the month left for him to go back to the present, because I started in the present of the story, just wrote about chapter 2, about what he does now. Then we spent some time in the past talking about this date that he had, but that's been going on for several chapters now. So I think I'm gonna have to start each chapter with a date so that people know, oh, this is in the past, this is in the future, this is in the present, not the future, but you know, that they are not confused with did this happen now or did this happen before? He just met somebody in the present and now he's on a date with somebody else in the past. Things got a little bit crazy. It's kind of like the Marvel timeline, but then less superhero stuff. So that's that, and he met somebody in the present that he's interested in, that he's going to be very fascinated with, and we're going to start on that soon, because currently I'm busy wrapping up the present, I guess, or the past thing with that other girl that he dated initially that did not go well, and now we're going to wrap that up real quick because her body's been found and her car's been found. So now it's just in that stage where they're trying to figure out who did it, and they can't find out who it is because, of course, the title is Bleach does the job. So he definitely spent some time erasing some traces. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to have the investigation from the police kind of just go down a little bit, like go underground a bit, to make him think that they're not on his trail and that they've basically given up. And they're just sitting around waiting for somebody to get them a clue that might open up the cold case and then just be able to solve it then. Or hopefully for him, of course, not at all. So he's thinking that they've given up and he's just gone on with his life like everybody else around him as well. Everybody's just gone on with their life whatever way they can. Now he's going to run into this other girl and they're probably watching him. But they're not going to be able to prevent the second crime from happening, which was going to originally be the only crime. But okay, so the second crime is going to happen, but this time they'll have like an idea who it is because they'll have been watching him in the past. So it's a bit of a cat and mouse game right now, because even though he's never done anything like this before, he is being really careful. Like he's deleted all of his search history and done all this other stuff to try and make it less suspicious. He's also trying to act really not suspicious, which usually means you're acting very suspicious. But you know what, he's trying to do anything he can to not even arouse any type of suspicion, which is also fun to write about, I guess. But from the outside perspective, I guess he still looks really boring, I guess, from if you were to be in that story. I mean, like, he wouldn't really be super interesting. Nothing would really be happening because most of the story is happening inside his mind and what he's thinking about and what he's trying to do, what he's trying not to do, how he's trying to look, how he's not trying to look, what he's trying to buy or look up online, and what he's not trying to buy and look up online, stuff like that. Just, it's a big cat and mouse game that's currently only really being played in his mind, and I think at a certain extent also at the police investigative office, bureau, department, whatever you call that, who are still trying to gather evidence to try and solve this original case. And this second case is definitely going to help seal the deal for him. And then after that has happened, it's not the end of the book yet because he hasn't been caught yet. It's not going to be one of those, oh, he is the culprit and that's the end of our story. All's well that ends well, and we know who did it, so now it's not going to continue anymore, and hooray for us. It's going to go into an investigation. An interrogation, I should say, because he's going to be invited over to the police station to talk about things because he is the janitor and this is the second time that something terrible has happened at his college. Have you really not seen anything? Have you really not noticed anything? You must pick up things and everything. And hey, wasn't there that case there with that girl that went missing a couple of years ago? Yeah, that was interesting. Didn't we talk to you back then as well? So they're going to have like this whole story. Don't know if you've ever watched like interrogation videos where they first start with like getting to know somebody, establishing their baseline to see how they react to normal everyday stuff, and then they start like poking them a little bit with a little bit of information here and there. Anyway, so to get him to react to certain things and then eventually drive him to the point where he can't help but basically admit that he did it, because they already kind of know that, but they have to get him to that point where he's going to admit it. And of course, while they're talking to him, everything's being recorded, so they also have some evidence later for in the court case, which I'm not sure if I'm going to write about it, but I think I'm going to at least mention that it's happening. Kind of important to notice that there's a court case. And of course the ultimate end will be him going to jail. And because he really doesn't want to go to prison, where all sorts of things happen that he does not want to happen to his personal self, let's call it that. He's not going to go there, he's going to check out early, but that'll be the end of the book. So we'll see about that at the end of the month. We should be able to get there before the end of the month, or at the end of the month, so we can actually close it on the 30th and have the entire story there. We'll see about that next week, how far we've gotten. Next week will be 1 week away, I think, from the end of the month, so then we'll have a good, I wouldn't say halfway point, 3/4 point. And then we can also see if what I had originally planned is really going to work within that time, or if we're going to have to keep writing after November, possibly January, because December is usually a month where I don't do any writing, because that's when I take my break. But we'll see about that next week then. Either way, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you're going to start writing anything at any time soon, doesn't have to be NaNoWriMo, let me know, so we can also take a look at that together. So that's it for this week. Hope you're going to go do well this weekend. I hope you're going to do something fun. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.